Now, because you've done the lowest level of understanding that you think you might have in your class, no one needs to sit with you. Every single child is able to engage in an independent investigation. And again, if you've got year even 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 onwards, if they've always had a teacher sitting with them after the explicit teaching, those kids need to first of all learn that they can actually learn independently, that they don't need a teacher sitting with them. Now, for some kids, particularly kids who this is completely ingrained in their understanding of their own learning, it could take a few lessons, even a few weeks, before they are confident enough to try to do something on their own. There are strategies to make sure they're learning independently as well, because 2 reasons why we don't want to sit with one child or a group of kids is, number one, if we're sitting with a group of kids, we're not available to the whole class. So you might have kids who've demonstrated understanding of whatever level, and they need to then be prompted to, okay, try it with higher numbers, or try it with 3-digit numbers, or try it with decimals, or try it with whatever. So those kids are just going to keep doing the same thing over and over again, because there's no one there to prompt them what the next level is, what the next level is. So that's one thing, we're not available to the whole class. But the other thing is, it's often the lower kids that we're sitting with. And those kids, if we then walk away from them and we come back and they haven't done anything independently, they haven't learned anything. Because if they can't do it when the teacher's not there, then they haven't learned anything. So we're wasting their time, we're wasting our time. So by making sure that their level is on the board, on an anchor chart, they can engage independently at the same time as the rest of the class can. Now, if you have got kids in your class, you might have half your class, you might have a third of your class, you might just have one child, it doesn't matter. The kids are all sat all over the classroom. Your less independent kids are not sitting together. They're sat scattered around the classroom amongst kids who are independently learning. So what we're going to do is we're going to give the first instruction, okay, so use your cards to make a number. And we're going to be walking around the classroom and we're going to be looking to see which kids are making numbers and which kids aren't. So number one, we're looking at the kids who are making numbers, are they making appropriate numbers? And number two, if a child isn't making a number, we're going to just say to that child, so our less independent kids, we're going to say to child number one, make a number, and then I'm going to come back, and then walk away. The most important thing is walking away when you've given an instruction or when you've asked a question to an individual child, because then that child has got what's called productive struggle. So that child can do everything before this. This is the next thing they have to learn. So we're not going to stay with them while they're learning it. We're going to give them a prompt or give them an instruction or give them a question and then walk away to let them engage in productive struggle. Now, the child's productive struggle might be getting out, making a number with cards without the teacher standing next to them, because they've never done that before. So they've done everything before that, including sitting with a teacher doing it. Now their productive struggle is, I've got to actually use my cards to put out a number. Another child's productive struggle might be applying non-standard place value of whole numbers to non-standard place value of decimals. So it doesn't matter what their productive struggle is, because they're all learning independently. So now I'm going to keep walking around the class, and I've come up to the other 5 or 6 or however many kids scattered around who haven't put out a card. Same thing. Use your cards to make a number, then I'll come back. Use your cards to make a number, then I'll come back. I walk past another child who's made an inappropriate number, so I'll say, okay, look at the numbers on the board. I want you to make a number round about that size, and then walk away. Okay, so in the first few lessons, you're doing a lot of this. Within only a few lessons, you're only doing that with 2 or 3 kids, because the other kids are realizing, oh, I can choose my numbers. Oh, I have to use that model. Oh, and they just get it. So then you give the next instruction, which is, draw your place value chart, whatever it is. And again, you're roaming. Now you're going to have some of your less independent kids who still have not put out cards. So we're going to raise the scaffold a bit, and we're going to actually pick up their card, show them how to choose a number, and then we're going to put the card back in the pack and say, now you do that, and then I'm going to come back. So then you walk away again. So then you do that around the classroom. Then you're going to give the next instruction. Okay, write your number, make your number with blocks, write your number in the place value chart, whatever it's going to be. Again, you roam. Again, you might have a child who still hasn't put out numbers. So then you might say, okay, I'm going to show you again. I want you to take this number and I want you to put it on the top of your desk and then fold your arms. I'm going to come back. So we're getting more and more explicit with what we want the child to do. But like I said, if you've got some kids who it's so ingrained in them that they don't learn unless the teacher's standing next to them, you might have to say, I want you to do this by yourself. All you're doing is putting a number on your desk, and then I'm going to come back. So some kids just need that reassurance. And sometimes we just think, oh, they're just being stubborn or naughty. Some kids are so ingrained in not doing anything independently that they just literally sit there. I've seen kids who literally sit there waiting for someone to come and do it for them. So then over time, everyone is then...